Hi, travelers. Tara here. What? Yes, you're seeing my face. Okay, so anyway, today is April 15th, and it is Text Day for most people. They moved it up a day. Um, but basically, I'm going to come to you with an open reading. We're going to do an open reading today. Tomorrow I have eye surgery, so I might be down for a couple of days. Website members, I've got a new series of articles coming for you. I attended an astrology conference this weekend, and I came back with so much information. It is just, I was floored by the amount of information. And basically, it's dealing with the Pluto Saturn South Node configuration in the sign of Capricorn. And what's so interesting about that configuration is that it is known as the astrology of fear. So what we're basically dealing with is a patriarchal, hierarchical society that is being challenged from those groups of people who have no power, have had no power, or are having their particular rights, being threatened and in jeopardy. The patriarchal part of it is basically it's always one male at the top, no matter whether this is in government or a business structure. Even in the olden days, Victorian days, even in our personal relationships. The hierarchical portion is basically that of how are things structured. A bunch of people at the bottom, and then things move up to the top. And so what happens when you get someone in at the top who wants to consolidate power, but they do it by taking away power and rights of those underneath them? That kind of crap trickles downhill kind of a thing. So if you go back and you look at the history of how America became a country, the last time Pluto was in Capricorn was 240 plus years ago. That is when America founded itself, and it left the colonial imperial rule of England. And basically the reasons were the same. You had one person at the top who was dictating things to everyone else. And then, those people got tired of it, and they decided, you know what, we're gonna rise up. And we're going to go over and we're going to make ourselves another country. You also had the French Revolution during that same time frame. You also had the Industrial Revolution during that same time frame. So what we are looking at right now, because eventually Pluto and Saturn will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. Well, there's also going to be a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction coming up as well. Now, I have... and that's called the kingmaker aspect. And the timing is right for either a new king to be coronated or a dictator. And so, as I always explain to you, whatever happens on a global scale will happen on a country scale, on a city scale, a county scale, a town scale, and eventually it will hit you in your pocket. I've been I challenge you to, no matter what your politics are, no matter what your belief systems are, I challenge you to look at as different many types of news or news programs as you can to gain a different perspective, so that you can kind of see things that are happening on both sides. A lot of people are entrenched already. They don't know it, they've already made up their minds one way or the other. But I think due to the astrological configurations, we really, 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 all of us on the planet need to be aware of the other side, right? Because only by being aware of the quote unquote opposition's viewpoints and belief systems are we going to be able to come together to try to maybe make a compromise of some sort. I think that people are very fearful, just like the astrology says, because Pluto and Saturn together is like black darkness, right? Um, Black is the absence of color, but black is also considered to be negative. It is considered to be evil. And so when you have dark times descend upon people become fearful. And then once they become fearful, they don't like change. They don't see change happening, or they don't see change in their favor, or the changes that have been gained may be reversed. People become fearful. And so I think there's so much negative energy out in the universe that we are all affected by it. So that idea of that we are all in the same boat, we are all in the same boat. So what happens to one group of people in one country, by the grace of God, there could go we. So we need to be very, very cautious and very conscious of the changes that are trying to occur for everyone on a global scale. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use the Shaman's Dream Oracle, and I am going to shuffle the cards, and we're just going to kind of ask what, I kind of feel like we need some, a bit of sunlight, a bit of joy, a bit of, this is springtime, but even still, I think the underlying energy for people is still a very heavy one, which is not typically what spring is all about. Spring is about newness and growth and birth and planting seeds and watching the harvest of the bounty, where as we get to prepare to go through the summer and into the fall of the year. And already we are, the 15th day of April. So in 15 more days, this month's going to be gone. So we're zooming through 2019. We are zooming through elections. There are things like Brexit. There has been the Indian democratic election. There are lots of things happening. There are lots of moving parts. But ultimately, all of us will be affected in some way, shape, or form. If not you personally, then it will be through the 6 degrees of separation. You know someone who may know someone who may know someone who may know someone, right? And so I'm going to use these cards and just ask the question of what can be done to kind of give us a bit of positivity, or a different viewpoint on perhaps a way through, and if not a way through, a way to cope with all of this stuff that's happening. I know many people were highly upset where they thought they were going to be getting tax refunds and they were depending on that, and they end up owing. So I think even though we're being told that our economy is good, I think it's only good for certain people in certain positions. And I'm sure a lot of people are worried about that. The job market itself is changing. Even though we're being told that the numbers are really good, that still doesn't cover those people who have lost their particular industry in which they've been working. They've been used to working. It's something that they've done. But suddenly, with the rise of the internet, and now 5G is coming in. And if you think the regular internet changed everything, 5G is going to upend everything. Those of you who have been with me for a while know I have been telling you that by 2020, absolutely nothing will be the same. This will be our timing, astrological timing, when Pluto, I don't know, I can't remember if Pluto leaves in 2020 or this conjunction of Pluto, the South Node, and Saturn kind of ends. It's the last of it. There's something coming up on April 24th. I do have an article coming out for you guys. Should be coming out sometime today. So website members, please look at that. We're going to continue that. I'm gonna try to bring all of the information that I learned over this past weekend. I'm gonna try to bring that to you, and it's If you hear me say that it is a vast amount of information, because you guys know how much information I have on the website, then know that it is a vast amount of information, and I have to figure out how to put it all together and distill it down in a way that is easily understandable for those who are reading. For anyone else, you know, you may see that pop up in my LinkedIn feed or my Twitter feed or my Tumblr feed. I've been having trouble getting into Facebook. I don't know what's going on over there. But anyway, you're not going to be able to read that particular article because it requires the membership. And you can click the link on the website, on the video here. That'll take you directly over to the website. But I want those of you who already have your membership, get your charts ready. Get your natal chart, your Coke natal chart, and get your solar charts ready. Okay? Pull those things out. If you haven't downloaded your ebooks yet, please go to your user documents and download your ebooks. Because there's a whole host of information. We're looking all the way out to 2026. So that's that. So I'm just going to, you know, what space should we be occupying at the moment, right? So I'm going to use the Shaman Oracle cards. Then I think I'm going to pull 5 of the Marsiglia Oracle cards. They are somewhat like they're not like the La Vida Sibilas, but kind of, sort of. Okay. I'm going to pull 5 of those. So let's go ahead and lay these particular cards. We're going to do 9 cards. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to formulate a question for the Heart Oracle Tarot, because I really feel as though there needs to be some kind of healing or respite or peace or something that seems to be missing right now, that I think even those people who are doing quite well, there's a level of tension and anxiety because nobody really knows how things are going to go from one minute to the next. Honestly, that's the time we're living in now. So the Dancer of Reconciliation. Huh, isn't that funny? And what is reconciliation? Normally we think of reconciliation as the idea of two people coming back together or getting back together, two different viewpoints coming back to the same spot. But reconciliation is also that idea about reconciling the conflicts that you have within yourself, bringing together the two sides of the whole, the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, the light and the dark. This is also reconciliation. The Spirit of Destruction. Can you see that? Huh. The Hunter of Abundance. Wow, that's telling a story already. Next card, the Shaman of Loss, which falls underneath the Reconciliation card. I'm going to adjust the camera so that you'll be able to see all of the cards. So just let me get them all down. The Hunter of Paths. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these 2 cards came out the last time I used these cards. So there's a secondary recurring theme coming up. The Hunter of Honor. Huh. The Spirit of Healing. The Hunter of Conflict. Now, that center row of the Spirit of Destruction, the Hunter of Paths, and then the Hunter of Conflict, I think speak the loudest. Because here is the ancestor of hope. And this is our outgoing energy. What is over this entire reading? The Shaman of Birth. We are indeed in a time frame where we are given birth to something new. It is a new set of beliefs, a new set of values, a new, perhaps even a new style of government. Definitely, it is Aquarius. We are, I don't know, for some of you, depending on your age, there was a book in the 60s and there was a song, The Age of Aquarius. Everywhere that you go now, what you see are you see the little symbol of the fish to represent Christianity. That is the time of Pisces. Okay, this is Pisces is the time of all of the great prophets. So you had Buddha, you had Muhammad, you had Jesus Christ. So this was the time of establishing not only civilizations, but those civilizations that no matter where you came from, there was always this belief in something greater, trying to understand why we are separate and trying to get back to the source. Okay. We know that there have been many wars fought over these different beliefs. There's been enslavement. There's been, all number of things. But basically, the truth of it is feeling separated from source and trying to understand our place in the universe. So that's our time of Pisces. And in one of the classes that I was in yesterday, they were talking about, of the south node and the north node of the moon. Well, each planet has its own south node and north node. And so the person who was was speaking about the north and south nodes of Pisces, of Neptune, I'm sorry. And that it has been, the south node of Neptune has been in the sign of Pisces since the 1196 was the year. So it has not changed that much overall this time. And so now we're about to shift, though. We're about to shift into the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer. We know that all life needs water. That theme is kind of carried over from the Piscean era as well, because water speaks to connectivity. It is about emotion. It is about feeling. It is about plumbing the depths, being submerged or immersed. Water is also used to baptize. Water is, again, that whole idea that water is life. We are born in, we come into the world, our existence, we are encased in water. And then we spend the rest of our lives on dry land, right? So we're always constantly, whether in a perhaps metaphorical sense, we are attempting to reconnect through water, through the element of water, in terms of our feelings, our emotions, trying to understand the psychological need for us to feel connected to something larger than ourselves, to source. So, but moving into the age of Aquarius, Aquarius is the water bearer. He is the sign of the community, but the community as a whole, the sign of brotherhood and sisterhood. What happens to me also happens to my brother and or my sister. My fate in the world is inextricably tied to the fate of my brother and my sister on the other side of the world. Roman times was a really good, the bathhouses of Rome. Well, there were split societies in Rome. There were rich people, there were the peasants and the serfs, and there were the slaves. But everybody met at the bathhouses. The bathhouses served the community. And a miraculous thing would happen when people would come to the bathhouses. Once they got together in the bathhouses and they all got in the water, everybody was equal. Why was everybody equal? Because everybody was naked. And we're all the same without our clothes on. Okay? It is only when we step back onto dry land and clothe ourselves in the physicality of where we stand in life that we differentiate ourselves. So no matter black, white, male, female, heterosexual, homosexual, chaste, once we got into the water, we were all the same. We were naked people in the water. Okay? So, in looking at this particular spread, When I say to you that the line down the center speaks the longest, it is the spirit of destruction. In order for anything to be reborn or for anything to rise up again, something first has to be destroyed, right? Energy is neither created nor is it destroyed. It simply transmutes itself into something else. After the destruction, however, there's a path that this energy has to travel along. There's a path that we have to figure out how to rebuild. And that in itself can bring about conflict. Somebody says we should build here. No, we should build there. We should do this. No, we should do that. But the bottom line is that there's still this community of humans that we have to consider what is best for the whole community to thrive. And this is not just on a local level. The whole idea that, whether you believe in climate change or you don't believe in climate change, the bottom line is, if we continue to have more powerful storms, be they tornadoes or be they hurricanes, if we continue to have droughts where nothing will grow, if we continue to have earthquakes where the whole earth splits open and destroys things, then what do we have left to sustain us as a species on the face of the earth, right? And there lies in the inherent conflict. If, for instance, let's say California slides into the sea, or they continue to have the kind of drought and fire cycle that they've been going through for the past, let's say, 20 years, eventually those people are going to start moving inland. The more people move inland, the less space, the less resources. It creates conflict, right? The more times that hurricanes come in and wash away whole coastlines, people will tend to move inward. They will start to move away from that, encroaching sea levels. Again, when people move inward to certain areas, there's less space, there are less resources. So there's an inherent conflict in this, right? So maybe here with the dance of reconciliation, maybe we start out not in a space where we are in a moment of reconciliation, but it is calling into question of reconciling what's at stake. Everything that I work for, everything that I am, who I am, what I have, where I live, what kind of toys I got, what I don't got. At a moment's, the drop of a hat, life can change. The shaman of loss. But it is sometimes through the loss that we are able to gain a healing. Sometimes you have to lose things to really appreciate what is most important. Okay? That's the abundance, the path, and the healing. Abundance is not just your financial status or your social status. Abundance means that you have peace and harmony throughout your life. Your children are well. You have good friends. You are living a good life. Every day is a good life. And each day that you get an opportunity to experience that is an abundant life. Okay? Abundance just doesn't come through finances. It comes through good health, good mental health, good spiritual health, good emotional health, right connections, right relationships with people and with yourself. Being in harmony with yourself, your environment, your community, your friends, your network, and the actual planet itself. I fear that some of you are conflicted in the sense of, if I lose X, how do I maintain my honor? Maybe it's my family name. Maybe it is my reputation. I think some of you have come from a place where maybe you've gone through something, reconciliation, honor to healing, and you're just now getting to a point where you're starting to be okay with the loss that you've suffered or the losses that you've experienced. Still, others of you are in the center and you are clinging on. You are torn between what was and what will be, what you have and what's to lose. How do I save face? How do I maintain my honor? How do I keep my name and my reputation? But no matter what is happening here or the circumstances in which you find yourself, the one thing that I think we can all share, and that if you look deep, if you stop for a moment and take a deep breath and remember what it was like to be a kid when you had hope. As we grow older and we move through life, we have lots of hopes, we have lots of dreams, but for whatever reason, life takes us in different directions. But I would guarantee you that deep down within yourself, there is one hope that you've always had that has never gone away. It may have dimmed a bit, but it has never gone away. No matter what that hope is, I think what the cards are trying to say is to remember what that felt like. And in remembering and honoring that spirit of hope, it's going to breathe a new life into what is actually possible as you move forward, as we all move forward. Because honestly, we don't know what is to come. I always say to people, be careful in how you speak. Because sometimes people are sharing with you their hopes. And you can say, oh, that's stupid, or you're never going to be able to do that, or it's impossible, or that's retarded what you're saying. And when you say that, you may be saying it from a place where you're trying to make people be realistic or to stay grounded or whatever the case may be. But sometimes hope is the only thing a person has. And to take away a person's hope literally removes their soul from them. It's like tearing their soul in half, ripping out a piece of their soul. Because even in the darkest days, in the darkest circumstances, people have hope. That may be the only thing they have to cling to so that they can move through. So I think we're all being challenged to remain hopeful, to remember what hope feels like, to grasp for the light of hope and to hold on to it, to honor it and uphold it. And through doing this, you receive abundance. I don't know if I'm sounding all crazy or not. I really don't care. There were so many things that were illuminated for me over this weekend course. Things that I had never considered before. It was a brand new way of me looking and viewing things before. And it was all done through a community. The community of astrologers. Which is quite Aquarian and quite Uranian astrologers are. They typically always have a very strong or prominent Uranus signature in their charts. And whether you believe in astrology or not, the patterns are there. Whole kingdoms and whole civilizations were built, were founded, were built and held on the movement of the stars. And basically all astrology is that idea and that belief of as above, so below. There is some effect, okay? There is a correlation and a connection. That picture of the black hole. Do not think that that was an accident for it to come now. The galactic center. Okay, do not think that that was an accident, that it showed up now, that we just captured that on film. The timing was just as it should be. Whatever that means to you or doesn't mean to you is completely irrelevant. Simply take note of it, because at some point it will become relevant to you in some way, shape, or form. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through each of these cards, okay? And then I'm not even going to pull the Marsiglia Oracle. I'm just going to go directly to the Heart Oracle Tarot. I know that there are lots of other readers out on YouTube who, when they watch me, may think sometimes that I'm all like rainbows, unicorn, and sunshine. No, I'm not. I can be quite direct and to the point. I don't sugarcoat things. But at the same time, again, I don't like to take away people's hope. I don't sell people a bill of goods. I don't lie to them. I don't try to twist the story to fit whatever narrative that they think they want to hear, because sometimes we all need the clear, unvarnished truth. And the truth can be painful, it can be ugly. But once you know the truth, it kind of sets you free to view things from a different space. What's that line from George Clinton? You know, free your mind and your asses will follow. The mothership connection. Okay. So it is, I think we are kind of on the cusp or the precipice. I feel that some of you feel as though we're standing on the brink of an abyss. But the truth is, sometimes we do have to go through darkness to appreciate the light. There is a path. There is a way. Will it be easy? No, it won't. Because even after the healing, there's going to be some conflict. So I think that hope landing here as the outgoing energy, and it is a horse. Horses can take a lot of load. They can move quickly or they can move slowly. But the point is that they move. Horses are also very psychic. They can sense when things come. They can sense when things are happening. They know to move in a different direction. So hope is not a finality. It is something that is continually moving. Right? Because each time we come through one situation, we find ourselves in another, we have hope. So it is almost like this idea of planting those seeds and watching them germinate and then moving on to the next. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. So let's start here with the Dancer of Reconciliation. Okay. The key words are balance restored, anger dissolved, restitution of wrongs, inner certainty, resolving doubt and confusion, strengthening bonds, bringing harmony, and peacemaking. And this is kind of where we were before this change has come over society in general. But it's also kind of saying in a way that we were maybe kind of asleep. You know what I mean? We were lulled into this false sense of, I don't know, security and everything being right with the world, and things will just continue on the way that they have always done. That is not true. All civilizations fall at some point. It is the quality of the hope, the ability of the healing and the compromises that whether or not we are able to rebuild. Without reconciliation, we can spend a great time in a no man's land of strife and disillusion. We reconcile ourselves to many things in life without realizing it. Trivial things that go wrong at home or work or that push us into difficult places. Yet reconciling ourselves to things we cannot change, loss, death, shifts in fortunes at many levels, is an essential stage of learning on our life's journey. The Dancer of Reconciliation stands as a force of restoration, a healing presence that offers us the insight to understand the true nature of our grievances and the power to mend them. Because right now, it's almost as if we're in an environment of grievance politics. Everybody's got a gripe. Everybody's upset. Nobody's being recognized or being honored. Everybody wants to stay exactly where they were. Spirit of destruction. Change is necessary. It is not always easy, but it is necessary. The key words: destruction of damaging emotions, freedom leading to calm, anger, frustration, power lost and power regained, annihilation of spiritual blockages, and letting go. When negative emotions plague us, they can ruin our contentment, damage our relationships, and undermine our true sense, our sense of true self. Fear, guilt, resentment, anger, jealousy, All these can eat away at us spiritually, corroding our positive energy and locking us into negative patterns of thought. The spirit of destruction has the power to annihilate such negativity. It forces us to address disturbing truths about ourselves and acknowledge that no emotion can operate without our consent. Such healing violence brings an end to inner damage and the soothing sense of calm after a terrible storm. And when I first saw this card, it looked like a nuclear explosion. That's what it looked like to me. This concentrated moment of energy, now it's all imploding or exploding around us. The hunter of abundance. The key words are plenty, certainty, love, well-being, creative motivations, strength of purpose, discovering hidden talents, resourcefulness, sharing, and spiritual sufficiency. Abundance means wealth in all its forms. The ability to provide for family, tribe, or nation can come at a high price, but when the rewards are reaped, we rejoice. For our ancestors, it meant access to food, shelter, and warmth. Yet, encounters with the hunter of abundance teach us that today abundance is not only sufficient provision for those in our care, but also another kind of plenty, that of creativity and emotional stability and a profound sense of spirit and love for all. It also means taking only enough for our needs rather than overconsumption. The shaman of loss. And he has shown up twice. He did last week in the reading. Okay, let me find the shamans. Oh, come on, shamans, where are you? I think they're near the back of the book. Yes, the shamans. Hold on one second. Rediscovery of forgotten truths. Loss and gain. Restoration. Balance. Coming to terms with loss. Endurance. Acknowledging who we are. And allowing things to pass onward. The universe cannot survive without balance. And all things have their opposites. Thus, joy must have sorrow. Good must have evil. Beauty must have ugliness. And gain must have loss. The shaman of loss helps us to understand why some things must pass away, why we sometimes lose our path, and why at times all sources of nourishment may seem to dry up. Not all loss is bad. Sometimes we lose things that do us harm. The shaman in this image walks beside us through the labyrinth of time and helps us to rediscover things we believed lost to us forever. And I think this is why the Paths card has shown up. We are literally at a crossroads at this moment. Some of you may not be feeling it, but no, even though you may not be aware of it or you don't see anything per se that pertains to you in your life. But yes, we are all in this together. So whether you acknowledge it, realize it, understand it, agree with it or not, okay, we are all in the same boat. The hunter of paths. The keywords are finding the way, looking for ways to reach your goals, progressing wisely, being mindful of wrong turnings, discovering shortcuts, making decisions, and discernment. That's the pathway, the crossroads. It is all about decision-making processes, the discernment and the wisdom to make the right decision. However and wherever we live, we need pathways to follow. This is as true today as it was for our ancestors. We seek our paths to show us how best to achieve our goals or find the right course of action amid a maze of turnings and decisions. The hunter of paths is depicted here, leaping onto the back of a creature whose long neck gives a clear view in every direction. With this hunter by our side, we too can enjoy that clarity of vision, and with it carefully choose which path to follow. The hunter's presence is a positive indicator that our instincts will guide us toward fruitful ways forward. I don't know. The hunter of honor. The keywords: appropriate behavior, honoring the world around you, celebrating differences, praising and accepting praise, finding honorable means, honesty, and respect. Honor underpins much of our life, even when we are unaware of it. To be honored, to act honorably, to honor others. These are key motivations in whatever journey we undertake. The hunter of honor reminds us to appreciate the world that supports us, the life we have been allowed to create for ourselves, and the loved ones who contribute to our well-being. We must honor places, people, and things, accepting them for what they are and acknowledging the effect they have upon us in every aspect of living. To succeed in this is to strengthen and celebrate the very essence of our being. The spirit of healing. Hold on. Where's my spirits? I love these cards. They really are quite lovely. And spirit in this deck is related to air. Okay? It is the energy around us. The spirit of healing. The key words. And this is the kind of thing that's running through this. So listen. Wholeness, restoration after illness, spiritual healing, understanding the reasons for sickness, re-energizing, opening the door to healing and the ability to receive. Healing is required by all of us at some time in our lives. Our ancestors, living in a dangerous world, required healers on a regular basis. However, it is the spiritual aspect of healing on which we focus here. The foremost care of the tribal shamans was the overall health of the community, and after that, the health of each individual. The spirit of healing makes journeys to the ancestral or guiding spirits to find cures for those of us who have been hurt in a way that cannot be treated by natural means. Addressing our inner sickness restores us to wholeness. But here is the conflict. And this is the honor of the hunter, of conflict. Let's see where here are the key words. Struggle, determination, resolution, finding better ways, restoring balance. So this whole idea of reconciliation, restoration, balance, healing, facing obstacles, courage, energy, healing, harnessing strength to achieve peace. This is a recurring theme throughout this spread. It says conflict, though we seldom choose it willingly, is deeply embedded within our collective psyche today, just as it was to our forebearers. Now, as then, we see conflicts over territory, possessions, and ideas, and often these can lead to the destruction of values and ways of life. This is the astrology of fear, people. I'm not reading that, but this is what this configuration is about. The hunter of conflict stands beside us to seek out a path of healing and counsels us to be peaceful, to lay aside old grievances and inner debate. In our own lives, we may often feel at war with ourselves, in turmoil over decisions we must make. Letting go of such anxieties clears our mind, restoring balance and inner peace, which will ultimately lead to the ancestor of hope. And the key words are hope in the darkest hour, support and generosity, the ability to see beyond trials, the strength to seek a positive outcome, and energy to move forward. One of the hundreds of horses painted on the cave walls, and these cards are based on the paintings on the cave walls in France. I forget the name of the place, but you know, it's famous. It says, one of the hundreds of horses painted on cave walls. This image embodies the vital energy typical of that species. It represents hope, the essential driving force that carries us forward, as the horse itself has done throughout the ages. In times of darkness and despair, it is when we feel farthest from hope that we need it most. And this is when the ancestor of hope holds out to us a light in the most shadowy places. Its flame transcends both fear and longing, offering instead a deep understanding of our inner destiny that will lift and carry us when we need it most. Now I'm going to read to you the message of this card. I am the ancestor of hope. I bring light into the darkest places and offer strength and support in times of greatest need. Whoever walks with me at their side is able to draw upon the deep well of enduring hopefulness, which overflows with the wisdom of understanding and acceptance, and offers the cure for all sorrows. Look ahead, and you will see the triumph that you seek. Do not look back, for there lies only the lost moments of your life. In other words, we can't stay in the same place, and we can't look to the past to solve our problems of the future, because the way it was then is not the way it is now. Right? So, over the whole reading is the Shaman of Birth. And it's almost as if the cards are giving us the full cycle. Birth, life, death, destruction, hope, rebirth. It's the cycle. The key words for the Shaman of Birth: new life, new directions and ideas, rebirth of dreams, fulfillment, encouraging new approaches to problems, preparing for the moment, and future lifelines. We give birth every day to ideas, aspirations, hopes, and promises. Our ancestors understood the importance of new beginnings to ensure the continuing life of the tribe, and we can learn much from this. All fresh starts of any kind warrant the attention we would lavish on a child coming into the world. The Shaman of Birth shows the miracles of pregnancy. A warrior figure guards the woman who carries the unborn child, ensuring that it comes to no harm. We need to take the same protective attitude to any new ideas or fresh directions in our own lives. And so, make no mistake, we are a tribe within a tribe within a tribe. All right? Even the generations, Generation X, the millennials, that's a tribe. But yet, that tribe is part of a much larger tribe. So, Chinese, Russian, South American, Australian, Black, African, Canadian. We're separate tribes, but we're all tribes. All one tribe, right? And literally, I think what the cards are saying is what happens to one happens to the other. So I think the energy of Aquarius coming in is going to usher in a new way of thinking about what it means to be a community. And really understanding that none of the tribes will exist if we don't all band together in a common way to protect the mother who gave birth to us, which is the earth. So that may sound, again, all pie in the sky and all mamby-pamby, but this is literally the messages that I started picking up when I was in the thing yesterday, and I was like, okay, then I'm supposed to come out and do a reading to see actually what's being said. So there it is, like it or lump it. Now, I want everyone within the sound of my voice and who is watching this to formulate an answer or question for the Heart Oracle Tarot. Because I really think this is a moment for all of us to really get in touch with what we are feeling. Because some of us, granted, are not paying any attention. Some of us are in denial. And some of us are very fearful. One more time. It's a Five of Wands. And so this is where we find ourselves in challenging times. This is what's happening. God, the cards are so funny sometimes. I want you to listen. The key words are ego, conflict, challenges, and competition. Human ego can be helpful when it provides us with a sense of self, value, and purpose. However, the ego can also lead to problems when it seeks to build itself up at the expense of others. Quarrelsome energies may be in the air at this time. You may find yourself either instigating disagreements or being pulled into them by others. Step back and examine the real issues behind the conflict. In other words, consider the source. You may find that it is more about being right than it is about what is right. You may also find a relationship to be more challenging than usual. And this could even be the relationship within yourself. Sensing an underlying power struggle, even though surface energies appear to be calm. Use your intuition and intellect to ascertain what is happening. While competition can be stimulating, it is disruptive to a relationship. You can avoid this by thinking before you speak or act, and by coming from a place of honesty and love. The Hunter of Honor. And I think you get to that place by honoring who you are and what you know to be true for yourself. All right? That's what I have for you. I hope those messages helped. I will see you after the surgery, at least with one eye. And until next time, namaste. Okay, I am tacking this on quickly. I just got through giving you the open reading and moved my computer back to my desk so that I could start processing it. And I switched to, I don't know, CNN, maybe MSNBC. The Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, France is on fire and burning to the ground. I'm not a Catholic, but that building has stood since the 1300s. So that whole idea of the spirit of destruction, of the reconciliation, people are literally standing in front of the Notre Dame Cathedral with their hands over their mouth. For me, just the idea of seeing that building on fire, that large structure, who has stood there longer than people can remember, is on fire and it is burning to the ground. And I think it's going to be a complete loss. And I'm not exactly sure if that is a world historical site or not, but it is in a way a symbolism for something. So in case you did not know that, you might not even care, but recognize that this is not happening for no reason. It's really a symbol. It's really a message. There's a larger message. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it is something that is quite profound. Just as it was when the Taliban knocked down all of those centuries old Buddhist temples. Things are crumbling. Things are changing. The structure can no longer stand. And again, this is on a global scale. This is a tribal thing that I'm talking about. So I thought I'd pass that information on to you. It may not be of importance or significance to you, but literally my heart like fell literally to the floor when I looked up and I saw the building on fire. I don't know what to say. I visited that place. I've lived in Europe and I've been to the Notre Dame Cathedral, and it was quite impressive. And there was centuries and centuries and centuries of history there. And now, just like that. All right. You guys have a great day. Bye.